6 months after the launch of the decentralization process. Ebenezer Akanga with the stakes of the meeting.
Recently, the mayor of the Yaoundé City Council demolished shops which were being constructed by the Yaoundé 7 Council. One of the reasons given was the fight against public disorder. This sparked a conflict between the two mayors, posing a threat to public order. It required the intervention of the administrative authority for public order to be maintained. As decentralization becomes effective, situations like this one, which may threaten public order, will undoubtedly arise. The administrative authority does not only have to ensure the implementation of decentralization, he has to maintain public order. He also has to check insecurity that may surface as a result of disorder. For example, the phenomenon called microbes in Douala, in which young men armed with dangerous weapons storm neighborhoods, assaulting people and snatching their money and other valuables. The insecurity in the northwest, southwest, far north and east regions born out of the socio-political crisis, Boko Haram insurgency, and influx of Central African refugees. The theme of the first biannual Conference of Governors for 2021, which is decentralization and public order, is therefore topical. The governors will make presentations on the state of their regions and also listen to presentations which will enable them to maintain public order within the context of decentralization.
Ahead of the conference, Ebenezer Akanga met some governors and asked them about the status quo in their regions. Here are the excerpts of Governor Bernard Okalia Bilai of the Southwest region, Gregoire Vongor of the East, and Kildadi Tageke Bukar of the Adamawa, edited by Ebenezer Akanga.
The security situation is under control. We had problems with our neighbor, Central African Republic, a few months ago. Now the calm is already there. We have problems in mines in Lomanjerem and Kadi division, where many people died.
Very good state of mind, because we are coming to consult with the Iraqi. We are coming to submit our problems, knowing that we'll go back with solutions.
Our presence here in Yaoundé, it will be a great opportunity for us to tell the hierarchy how far we have gone with the management of our region and all domains, how far the population of Adamawa are ready to forge ahead for their development.
Those are some regional governors speaking to Ebenezer Akanga on the meeting that begins tomorrow. Cameroon and the world today highlights the achievements of people with albinism around the world despite the numerous challenges they face. With the theme, Strengths Beyond All Odds, our reporter Zach Bate Agbo reports says stigmatization and some health issues are the major challenges albinos face.
Today, albinos suffer from problems like eye when they encounter sunshine during the prescription of glasses. This is as some albinos are unable to meet up with their regular medical prescriptions.
The problem of eyes, they cannot read well, and they have the problem of sun. When sun shines, it's not good for albino skin.
Special message to albinos is: don't stay in the sun no matter what, and put your sunglasses on because they shield the sun from entering your eyes. If your eyes are shielded and your body is shielded, then you do not run the risk of having skin cancer later on in life.
It is with this that the Secretary General of the Asmodisia, Felix Epole, pleads with the state as well as individuals of goodwill to assist albinos.
Faced with multiple health and social integration challenges, the government, via the Ministry of Social Affairs and our partners, have been fighting against social exclusion of albinos. Gerald Nanji Eyambe with a picture of how albinos have been integrated in the society.
People with albinism are often victims of stigma, facing multiple forms of discrimination. However, the government of Cameroon is promoting their socio-economic integration.
They have a program for them in the Ministry of Social Welfare where kids with albinism would go to school free of charge.
The albinos themselves are defending their cause.
I want to encourage all albinos to stand up there for themselves, to push themselves, because naturally and culturally, attitudes have made that albinos are relegated to the background. But I'm lucky to have come from a family and that understands that albinism comes from father and mother.
This year's International Day of Awareness of Albinism is observed on the theme, Strong Against All Odds.
The society should understand that there's nothing mystical about being an albino. I eat everything. People claim that we shouldn't eat crayfish, we shouldn't eat okra, we shouldn't eat. For God's sake, how did I get this rounded if I were excluding all of those things in my diet?
Through social protection and continuous advocacy, the albinos are an integral part of society.
The British High Commissioner to Cameroon, Dr. Christian Denis McClure, has pledged his country's willingness to work towards a peaceful resolution of the ongoing conflicts in the northwest and southwest regions. The diplomat made the declaration this weekend after meeting members of the Northwest Executive Council. Eric Langmia-Wofor reports from Bamenda.
Members of the Northwest Executive Bureau, led by Regional Assembly President Professor Fruan Wafo III and UK High Commissioner to Cameroon, exploit avenues of cooperation towards a return to normal life of socio-economic activities in a restive Northwest region.
The UK continues to support Cameroon in ways to try and reduce the suffering from the conflict and to find a peaceful resolution, a context in which people are faced with the conflict here in the Northwest.
They have also earmarked cooperation ties in areas of sustainable development, renewable energy, climate change, education, among others. He is the first diplomat to pay an official visit to the Northwest Regional Assembly, put in place some 6 months ago.
The sum of 2,750 million CFA francs has been adopted by the North Regional Council as its budget for 2021. The budget program to carry out development projects in the region was adopted during the first ordinary session of the North Regional Council, chaired by its president, Umaru Usmanu. Wilson Mengole has details.
250 million francs CFA adopted by the North Regional Council will be invested in development projects in the region as councillors will descend to the field, identify the worries of the population and come up with a development plan that will satisfy the people.
One priority for us is the settlement of our institution, the Regional Council, first of all, and secondly to purchase some equipment, some heavy equipment for road construction and others. That's our main goal for this year.
With an adopted budget, many believe with the huge economic potential of the North region, the region will take a leap forward in its development. According to the North Regional President, it's a huge tax that awaits them as they will be judged by the population at the end of their mandate.
Tributes have been paid to late Honorable Simon Achiriachu, an astute politician and statesman who passed on May 4, 2021. The first Anglophone Prime Minister was honored at a funeral service Saturday in Douala ahead of the burial proper in Bamenda. Sali Ebenenyoki reports.
The turnout at the funeral service in Douala and eulogies presented were a representation of the late Right Honorable Simon Achiriachu while alive. Apart from being a father of many, his humility left an indelible imprint in the minds of administrators he worked with while serving as Prime Minister.
I learned a lot from him. A humble man at every level used to be the solution.
For his children, he was a father with a difference who loved his fatherland.
He taught us, one, to be loyal to the family, and secondly, to be loyal to the country.
This exemplary lifestyle is what the country needs and should be emulated by those who are still alive.
To keep past legacy of faith, God, belief, worship, gratitude and humility.
Sympathizers, especially those who will not make it for his burial in the northwest region, paid special tributes.
Release of the balloons symbolizes charity, and also we are telling the spirit to go well.
Cultural groups from different regions were also present.
And in Yaoundé, traditional rulers of the upper house of parliament and their peers from other fondoms have paid special tribute to late former Prime Minister Senator Simon Achidi-Achu. This was during a grand ceremony today at his lakeside residence here in Yaoundé, during which Pa Achidi-Achu was described as an epitome of humility. Details with Charles Anyangwe.
This special ceremony, organized by traditional rulers to pay tribute to late Simon Achidi-Achu, was transformed into a cultural jamboree. Traditional rulers from the Senate and chiefs from other regions described late Pa Achidi-Achu as a man of exceptional qualities.
Simon Achidi-Achu in his lifetime did not only distinguish himself as a national figure, but traditionally he was grounded. He even used to call himself the Chief Chinda.
We are celebrating his life. Somebody who was kind, friendly, and ready at all times to share with people.
The president of the Northwest House of Chiefs, the representative of traditional rulers from the South, Center, and Southwest regions all described late Achidi-Achu as a man of the people, simple, generous, and who respected traditional authorities. The wife of the deceased, Ya Achidi-Achu, thanked all the traditional rulers for coming to share in their pains. This tribute ceremony marks the beginning of the funeral program of late Simon Achidi-Achu.
The Gendarmerie Road Safety Unit along the Yaoundé-Bombang-Beto National Road No. 10 has been tracked and tested by another Gendarmerie secret agent and found professional. The secret agents appeared in plain clothes and tried to bribe the Road Safety Unit but met a very professional force. BrigadeAntiSardinard, please tell us how it happened.
Controlling the controller is the mission of this gray vehicle.
This vehicle with no insurance, no driver's license, only has the logbook. It was flashed by the radar. They must face their offense.
Caught at the Akonolinga junction, the control post agents would have been booked for corruption if they asked for or took bribe. On the same Yaoundé-Bombang-Beto access Saturday, these Chinese medical doctors who disrespected speed limits and wanted to escape were brought back by the detachment chief, Major Marguerite Mfeke, to respect the law. On the COVID-19 barrier measures, there is good news.
We have noticed that road users are respecting government prescription to stop the spread of COVID-19, but we have not stopped sensitizing them.
The National Gendarmerie Road Safety Task Force has no space for delinquents.
Over in Yaoundé, 3 children have died and 1 other hospitalized after consuming rat poison mixed with rice. Family members say the substance was intended to kill rats in the house, but unfortunately, the 4 kids fell in the trap. Elise Wajib Banmia completes our story.
The story started well with a plate of rice garnished with poison to deal with numerous rats that have been giving sleepless nights to Kabiru's family in Yaoundé. Unfortunately, things rapidly turned into a tragic tale when 3 children of the house plus a neighbor's kid consumed the poisoned plate of rice. Fadimatu, age 2, Buba Sule, 1, and Aja, 3, all die after crying of stomach ache minutes after.
The children were asleep around midday. They got up and apparently were hungry. Being alone at home, one discovered the plate of rice and called the others to join him in eating the food. The mother confirms that she actually did the mixture and placed the food beside the bed. It's really unfortunate.
The entire family and neighborhood has been submerged in disbelief, with the mother of the 3 victims inconsolable. The 4th child who consumed the poisoned rice is currently receiving treatment in a hospital.
It's truly painful. Members of the Christian Women Fellowship of the East Mongo Presbytery of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon are celebrating their 60th anniversary at the end of a 2-day annual rally of the CWF. The joint ceremony was hosted this year by the Ekunu Presbyterian Church. Details with Victor Siga.
Over 40 groups of the Christian Women Fellowship, drawn from the East Mungo Presbytery, meeting to commemorate the Diamond Jubilee. It is 60 years the Christian Women Fellowship has been existing and plays an indelible role in the growth of the church.
If not of CWF women and women in the Presbyterian Church, the church wouldn't have gone so far. The road without difficulties lead to nowhere. As Christians, we are on a pilgrimage. And that pilgrimage does not go without pain.
The event equally paved way to crown activities of a 2-day annual rally of the women. This year's theme is Cast All Your Burdens Unto the Lord. Presbyterian Church Ekunu were hosts in 2021. The prelate, Reverend Paul Nguta, has challenged CWF members to keep faith in God always. The Women's Association envisages building an employment center in Colbison soonest for women and girls' emancipation.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.
Let's get into the second canto and talk about our fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Today, Gilbert Ongene engages his guest, Dr. Eric Tandy, on the serious question on if a person who has received the COVID-19 vaccine can stop respecting barrier measures against the disease. Let's follow the answers. Hello, Gilbert.
Hello, Benin Bumagana. Welcome to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center. I'm with my guest, Dr. Eric Tandy, a public health expert, and our discussion today is centered around whether when a person takes the vaccine against the COVID-19, he or she should stop respecting barrier measures against the propagation of the virus. Good evening, doctor.
Yeah, good evening, David.
You have taken the COVID-19 jab already. Have you stopped respecting the barrier measures?
Definitely no. You and I, given this evening, you find us putting on face masks. It means we still have to keep on respecting the barrier measures. And to specify on this, we have to know there are many variants in circulation. And taking your vaccination is something very good that prevents you from living from a situation to a critical or severe situation. So that is the main function of the vaccination against COVID-19. We have to keep on respecting barrier measures. You've seen around the world, we have so many variants that are in circulation. If you have taken your vaccination, it's not guaranteed that you're completely immune to this, but it gives you some immunity from living to a severe situation. So we have to continue respecting barrier measures to fullness until when we'll get out of this pandemic situation within our communities. There is still ongoing research. We don't yet know. Today we've learned, we see what is happening within India. And again, we've seen a lot of variants that are in circulation. So we don't have to take chances.
Well, Benin Bumagana, the message is clear. Don't complicate an already complicated situation. Once you've taken the vaccine, keep respecting the barrier measures against the COVID-19 in order not to get infected or infect others or get other variants that could complicate the whole situation. Over to you, studio.
Thank you very much, Gilbert Ongene. Several eulogies have been given at the funeral service of deceased former Secretary of State at the then Ministry of National Education, Paul Enyi Atogo. The one-time member of government who passed on at the age of 77 years is credited for crafting several schools and scholarship schemes geared towards helping the needy. Kilo Valerie reports on the burial from Momo Division.
An educationist who departed from active service in 2004 at the age of 60 and finally dies in 2021 at 77. But his fight to eradicate illiteracy leaves a long-lasting blueprint in his division of origin, Momo.
Through him, the government created so many government secondary schools, primary schools, and even boarding schools. He offered scholarships to children.
A mark of state recognition by Governor Adolf Afrique, representing the head of state for a man who reportedly opted for a non-violent approach in the socio-political stalemate in the northwest and southwest regions.
He was a resource person of the major national dialogue who brought in the major innovation reforms like the special status.
This preacher calls for the spirit of dialogue to be sustained, warning many in the region have been stripped of life prematurely. While the living contemplate on trashing their insecurity headache, he is quietly departing not through the insecure enclaved Jikwa subdivision where he was born, but through the heavily fortified upstation neighborhood in Bamenda.
55-year-old Reverend Dr. George Heve Ateba, who died on May 9, has been laid to rest in Meba in Zoetele of the South region. The different eulogies describe the late EPC pastor and senior state functionary as a man who was at the service of the church and of man. Beatrice Ngum has the dirge from Meba.
He lived and served humanity, but most especially his creator. 55-year-old Reverend Dr. George Heve Ateba served in the Lord's vineyard and also served his nation at the Prime Minister's office. He answered his master's call for the big sleep last May 9, 2021. His exit has left many in pain.
George Heve Ateba was a man of exceptional qualities. He spent his life investing in people. He paid tuition for some, and for others he secured jobs. He was a great man.
We have lost the man to whom the family expect to grow. We are alone and we don't know what we can do now.
Friends, family, colleagues, and most especially the clergy turned out en masse on Meba in Zoetele to pay him last respect. The fallen reverend will be remembered by many for his fine works on earth. Reverend Dr. George Heve Ateba bows out, leaving behind a wife, 7 children to survive him, and an EPC church in tears.
Let's go over to Beta Endom, that is in the Nyong and Fumu division, to follow the story of the burial of the mortal remains of Philemon Blake Ondua Bita. Late Philemon Blake Ondua Bita, who died at the age of 74 years, has a 43-year experience in theater, television, and cinema. More about the great storyteller, actor, and comedian with Constantine Baum.
It was at Beta Endom in the Nyong and Fumu division in the Central region that one of Cameroon's finest actor, comedian Philemon Ondua Bita was laid to rest. Philemon Black Ondua died at the age of 74 on May 8, 2001 after a rich career in theater, television and cinema. Died as he lived on stage while acting on a new series of plays. From tributes paid, Uncle Phil expressed all the magic of his art, keeping viewers spellbound. Described like a comet in the blue sky, a library in the Cameroonian theater with a rich 43-year experience in directing, acting, be it in short films or theater. He was a talented vet player, a tool. He used to tell his stories. He is gone to the world of no return, but his legacy will live on as recounted by representatives of the Minister of Art and Culture. He was one of the first recruits of the National Theatre, with which he took part in many tours around the world, as was the case in 1985 at the Katish Theatre Days, and has left a mark in projects such as La Mamite de Kokambala, Dahiru 4 by Adamundam Joya, La Marche vers Avant, Le Pic of Angonomana and Abomgwele. He leaves behind a wife, children and grandchildren, as well as the Cameroon theatre family to mourn him.
May their souls rest in peace. This time, a group of young Cameroonians have come up with the concept La Scène Littéraire, which encourages Cameroonians to read. They have so far inaugurated a library in Yaoundé, held a think tank on a literary piece authored by a Nigerian. They intend to extend their move to towns and villages in the country, as you hear in this report by Beatrice Ngom.
They are young, brilliant, and ambitious. These youths want to be models in their environment, and they intend to do this by being ambassadors to a cause.
We want people to read books written by African authors, by black authors, and then we created this association and we created this space so that the young Cameroonian, young Africans can come and learn about African writers.
Grouped in associations, they have come together to promote the culture of reading among their peers. This literary think tank is one of the means they are using.
The activity of today was to present the book, Reste avec moi, Stay with Me, that was written by a Nigerian writer called Ayobami Adebayo. It is the book that won the Prix Les Afriques 2020, and that is being promoted by La Scène Littéraire. So all the year we'll be organizing events in villages, in towns to present this book and to make that, and to do that Africans discover the beauty of African literature.
This library they have inaugurated at the Fue neighborhood is open to all willing to read a book anytime, they say.
Let's talk football now. Defending Cup of Cameroon champions Stade Renard of Melon have been eliminated from the Cup of Cameroon race this year after the 2-4 penalty loss to the New Stars of Douala. Other defeats in the 16 finals this weekend include Canon of Yaoundé, who were out 0-1 by PWD of Bamenda. For the complete results, here is Daniel Ekonde.
The high points of the 2 days of play of the 16 finals include a massive upset for 12-time champions Canon Yaoundé, a second-half penalty by PWD Bamenda's Chido John Bosco threw the Abakwa Boys supporters at the Bamendi Stadium to the wire. The 1-0 loss cut short Canon's road, while the league holders PWD step into the quarter-finals. In Betwa, a brace from veteran Cotton Sport striker Dauda Camilo punished Mintak FC 4-0. The emphatic win for the Garwa team sets the stage for their CAF Confederation Cup semi-final against JS Kabylie this week. In the other results, Limbe outfit Option Sports stunned depleted Edingspor 1-0. New Stars of Douala ousted defending champion Stade Renard 4-2 on penalties. The 14 teams are now waiting for the schedule of the 8th finals. 6-time winners Union Douala square off Fufu of Baham. Tonnerre challenge Cotton Sport. UMS of Lum clash with Astre, and PWD meet Renaissance of Ngumu.
Thank you very much, Daniel Ekonde. It is with our report that we come to the end of this edition of the 7:30 News. Tomorrow you're going to meet the legend Ben Meno Poufon. But at 8:30 today, watch Ataba Dinoma bring to you the news in French. Good night. Have a blessed week ahead.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.